Okay, once again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As I mentioned, let me briefly tell you what's happening next few days at MMA so that you don't miss them. The next event is happening on 12th of March. That is competition for the Outstanding Women Manager of the Year. We already got more than 25 nominations. This will be conducted as a prelude to the convention. The theme of the convention this year, Women Convention Level Up, and competition also held on that. And we select one outstanding woman manager of the year award who gets attractive cash prize and trophy, certificate, and brings a lot of laurels to the organization which she belongs to. Then we are on the 14th of thing. Again, we have, as usual, Read and Grow, led by Baba Krishnamurthy and his team. The art of thinking clearly, better thinking, better decisions. As I keep telling every time, the Read and Grow is exclusively done more for the benefit of management students. We strongly believe to be a great leader, to be a great reader. The reading habits are, happy to note, that developing. I see a lot of students start reading. They're borrowing a lot of books, and we have some outstanding collection of books. We got 1.25 million books, e-books in our library, e-research papers. I only wish you all log in and use it. We have invested a lot of time, energy, and money. Please do, all the members, especially management students, use them. It will be it will stand you good. Then on 16th of March, MMA One Managers Convention on the theme Level Up. And this year it's happening here. I'm so happy to tell you it's already sold out. I mean, the 325 seats only we have. Much before that, all the seats are already been sold out. Any woman you want to attach, please send your request. We'll try and accommodate. Otherwise, it's a full house, and we have some outstanding speakers will come. I don't want to take the time. You can watch our website. In fact, one person I would like to mention is the first fighter pilot of Indian Air Force. She's coming from all the way from our fighter base. We want to come and share our views, what made her be a fighter pilot. Now she's flying with so many gents, men-dominated sector, and it'll be very, very interesting. We also got some outstanding NGOs, corporate leaders, then chairman of the Indo Group, chairperson of Indo Group, Nirmala Lakshman is going to be the chief guest of the inaugural session. Please do come, and all the men sit back home, relax, and you can watch this online. It's a women convention, but actually women convention, men should attend because many issues will get resolved. But notwithstanding, it's taken live. Please do watch and look forward to seeing you there. Then on 25th of March, again, a very interesting, thought-provoking subject. Right or wrong, GDP is the correct way to measure the growth. There are a lot of discussions happening in newspapers and other public forum. What is the correct way? We've got three, again, outstanding panel to discuss. Arun Kumar, he is the Malcolm Adishishya professor, Institute of Science, and is also from Jawaharlal University. You must be seeing his article regularly, Mr. Arun Kumar. We all see him, Dadiwala, long beard, and is one of the brilliant thought leader. Then we got Mr. Shivaraman, former Revenue Secretary and Government of India, and also former Executive of Director of IMF, and also Mr. Satyamurthy, convener. And we are also getting a speaker from Deloitte. It should be confirmed. Come, Mr. Hariharan, take a seat. Welcome. This is what is happening on 25th of March. Then on 28th, again, we have a very, very interesting event leading through adversity, management, and leadership, principles of high stakes and challenges. Again, we have outstanding panel. You're going to cancer survivor, Radhika Krishnan. She's going to be talking to us with Jose, and we also have two panelists to discuss what exactly happened. Sometimes something in life hits you so badly, you don't know how to recover, be it in life, be it in corporate world, be it even while traveling, anything can happen. How do you come out of such a situation? Here, the life story is going to be shared by some of the people who have gone through and achieved great success. So this is happening on 25th of March, and Radhika Krishnan traveling all the way from Dubai to share her thoughts with us. Then on 5th of April, we have a number of other events. We have a discussion on the book Sustainability with Rajiv Peshwara. He is coming again from USA. The number of other events also been done, but coming to today's event, we're indeed privileged to host this event today. Discussion on the theme of the book, In Search of an Ideal MSME. Because I don't know explain, MSME, all the backbone of the country, and they contribute to maximum employment. We discussed so many things about MSMEs, MSME rating. Even MMA, we have an MSME sector, MSME forum. We do a lot of work, but ultimately wound up in the ground level. We have an expert who is going to be sharing with you what exactly happening at the ground level. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hand together to welcome the distinguished guest for this evening, Professor Sharad Sarin. He's the author, retired senior faculty of XLRI. Mr. G.M. Kapur is joining online. Yeah. Mr. G.M. Kapur, author, independent management consultant. He joined us online from Calcutta. Then Mr. Hariharan S Ramamoorthy, Managing Director of Srimukha Group, again outstanding professional from MSME. Mr. Ravi, Director, Buildcraft Interior Pvt Ltd. May I request the dignitary to please take your place on the dais, please. May I, sir? Come, Professor sir, please. Come. Mr. Kapur has already joined us online. Very warm welcome to you. Before I proceed further, ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to welcome and introduce Mr. Mahalingam, the President of Madras Management Association. He is a partner, director at TSM Group of Companies, a distinguished NIT Trichy and IIM Calcutta alumni, and boasts over 35 years of leadership in transforming business, driving impactful investments under stewardship. All companies under him have flourished, and as much MMA also flourishing under his leadership. But he's been a great supporter of MMA. We have done some phenomenal events under his leadership. And now it's my privilege to request Mr. Mahalingam to deliver the formal welcome address. Over to you, Mr. Mahali.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Warm welcome to all of you. For a little while, when I walked in, I thought I had barged into an XLRI reunion. There were so many of you. And fond memories for me because I studied in Calcutta, and there was a traditional rivalry between IIM Calcutta and XLRI, and still exists. Oh God. GM and you were rivals. Okay. So fond memories for me because I've been to XLRI for the XLIM table tennis match, and I beat them. Lucky Ravi wasn't there. He was a great table tennis player those days. So it's a very warm feeling for me. Personally, it's when PNS reached out to me and said we should do this, I said definitely we should do, because when we were studying in MBA those days, we had legends like professors in multiple institutes, and Professor Sarin was one of those who was talked about much those days. Yeah. So I'm really privileged and honored to be part of this function. Yeah. The kind of names you used to talk in husband's purse, no? And though we didn't attend class, we still revered professors. So great. It's a privilege for me. And GM Kapur, what should I say? And GM Kapur is my senior from Calcutta. And I think we have a management association connection also. I think he's the president of the Calcutta Management Association, GM Kapur. Thanks, GM, for being here. Is GM there? GM is personally known to me, and we met him at the All India Management Association convention. Thanks, GM, for doing this for us. And GM had mentioned this book to me. I couldn't connect it to Professor Sari in those days. And now I know the connection. Yeah. Mr. Hariharan S Ramamoorthy, Managing Director, Srimukha Group, thanks for coming. It's so nice of you, sir. You're the MSME expert, so you bring that perspective. And Ravi, I have very fond memories of his family for me in some ways. And when we started a business, a new business, Ravi was the person to do our first interiors in as early as back of 1992, 93. Okay, so we go a long way back, and Ranga, who's also MMA, and many of the XLRI friends I see here, I'm almost feeling at home today. Thanks. I take this opportunity to welcome all the XLRI and my other people who come here, people who are watching this on YouTube, MMA members from across. A few numbers on MMA, I rather don't want to call them words. 68 years old and running, 8,000 members, 10 chapters, more than 700 programs a year, and 14 times winner of the Best Management Association Award for the last 14 years running. So, congratulations due largely to the person who welcomed us, Group Captain Vijay Kumar. He's a live wire, and all you have to do with Vijay Kumar is give him an idea and it transforms into a mega event. Thanks, Professor Group Captain Vijay Kumar. On the topic of the day and the book of authored by Dr. Sarin and Mr. Kapur, I don't want to say too much because on situations like this, it's best to leave it to the experts. I can say the usual stuff about the backbone of industry, 30% of employment. I do not do all that. I leave it to you because I think that's really good. Most people say that most of the time. I leave it to the experts to talk about it. We have three of them here and Professor Kapur, GM Kapur there, so leave it to them. All I can say is that you look around and most jobs, I would consider myself an MSME in some way or the other. And so I think we face our challenges, and I know what those challenges are, whether it be productivity, hiring people, whatever. I think this book is going to address that. And I've not read the book till now. Maybe I should read that at this stage of my life also. I think I will have a lot to learn. Thank you for bringing this book to us, sir. So it's so nice of you. So finally, I would like to say it's a great privilege for me to do this. We should thank CAS, our partners, for continued support to MMA. I'll also take this opportunity to welcome past President Ranga is here, and maybe some more are watching online. I should mention in this context that we have phenomenal viewership online. Our best events, for example, the last event we did at the Taj had 12,000 views within a week. And we did an event with Guru Bhoti, we had 8,000, 10,000 views. So what was a necessity in COVID has become a big virtue these days for MMA. I think the reach is far and wide, and it reaches the globe virtually. And we get excellent feedback. So to all the viewers watching, welcome. Welcome to all of you. I'm sure we'll have an inspiring and educative session from all of you. All of you have a great session. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mali. And just to briefly tell you what's the format of the session this evening is, we have two authors. One of the authors will request Mr. Sarin to make a detailed presentation. Mr. Kapur will also give his opening remarks. We'll start with Mr. Kapur's opening remark. Then thereafter, I'll request Mr. Sarin to give a detailed thing. Before that, let me have the privilege of introducing the distinguished speakers for this evening. Start with Bhishma Pitama. I call him Dr. Sharad Sarin, author, retired senior faculty of XLRI. He is a faculty of XLRI, a distinguished author and educator with over 45 plus years of experience, recognized for his expertise in marketing and strategic management. He has conducted training programs worldwide and received accolades, including a Lifetime Achievement Award from Higher Education Forum Mumbai and IIM Indore. I think that's quite a big round of applause, gentlemen, to get from multiple institutions. And Sarin is a notable publication includes Strategic Brand Management for B2B Markets, Business Marketing, Concept and Cases. Thank you, Dr. Sarin. It's a pleasure to have you with us. And thank you for choosing MMA to come and talk about your book. Thank you so much. Let me have the privilege of Mr. GM Kapur, author, independent management consultant, advisor. He joined us online from Calcutta, and he's a resident of holds a bachelor in mechanical engineering from IIT BHU and a post-graduation in business management from IIM Calcutta. With a background in banking and startups, he now serves as independent management consultant and advisor to the Royal Norwegian Consulate. Kapur is also actively involved in INTAC and also honored with the Distinguished Alumnus Award by IIM Calcutta. Very, very warm welcome to you, Mr. Kapur. It's a pleasure to have you with us online from Calcutta. Now, we also have a good friend of mine and another leading light in the area of MSME is Hariharan S Ramamoorthy. He is a managing director of Srimukha Group of Companies and holds a master's degree in computer science from University of Illinois, Chicago, and a bachelor in engineering from Crescent Engineering College. He serves as a national vice president of Laghu Udyog Bharati. I know how many of you know Laghu Udyog Bharati. They are backbone of MSME SMEs. They have over 1 lakh MSMEs as members. Go to 50,000 MSMEs are members there. They do so many activities. We also had the privilege of working with them sometimes. Great organization, totally focusing on MSME, and he has been the vice president of that organization and has over 25 years of experience in precision manufacturing. Notable achievements include implementation of international quality standards and receiving best supplier awards and prominent automobile companies. Very warm welcome to you, Hari. It's a pleasure to have you this evening. Let me have the pleasure of introducing Mr. Ravi, another panel for this evening. Ravi is the director of Buildcraft Interior Pvt Ltd, the strategic leader and a diploma in business management from XLRI Jamshedpur and qualified as a chartered accountant and cost accountant. And with his vision, Buildcraft expanded to become the leading player in cyberboard corporations and drive-well contracting. And Ravi expertise in business development has facilitated partnership with renowned international brands, driving the company growth and diversification. Now, as usual, if you have any questions, ladies and gentlemen who are in the auditorium, the question slips is here. You just tell our assistant volunteers will hand you over the question slips and you can write a question addressed to the author. They agree to respond to all your questions. Viewers watching this program live, there's a numbers flash on the screen. Please do send your questions and all questions should be relevant to the theme, what is being discussed this evening. And the distinguished authors and the panelists will be more than delighted to respond to all your questions. As we format with the permission of Dr. Sarin, I request Mr. Kapur to say a few opening remarks. Before that, would you like to start? So how do you want to go, sir?
Hello. Once again, good evening, everyone. Once again, but I did not say that. So before anything else, I would request you all to acknowledge her contribution in my life. And her name is Mani Sarin. Will you please get up? So Mani is related to GM Kapur, both brother and sister. So now, why this book? Let's come to the topic. Somewhere around 1980, can you all hear me? See, I'm not, because of some kind of walking issue, otherwise I keep on traveling in the class all the time. Somehow or the other, I'll not be able to do that, but somewhere around 90. Can you hear what I say? Year was 90. So 90, both GM and me, we thought of doing something for the SMEs, the small so-called SMEs. And then we also zeroed in that we need to identify two kinds of situations, a new product and new entrepreneurs. New product and new entrepreneurs. Now we were in search of this odd situation. Luckily, we could identify 5 such kind of situations then in 1980. Which year it was that? 1980. So we did what we call in terms of research, a longitudinal study to find out the reason, what made them successful and where they are. All 5 of them, fortunately or unfortunately, they don't exist. They died. So we published an article in a very leading magazine, lessons from failures. And that's the time when GM and me started looking for some more examples of SMEs. Then came 2009, when both of us decided to do some kind of a focused search on dedicated to SMEs alone. Now, SMEs, SMEs is a very broad term. जो गोला वाला भी है, पुचके वाला भी है, वो भी SME है, और जो बहुत बड़ा SME जैसे कि अभी हल्दीराम भुजिया वाला, वो भी SME. So I stay in Jamshedpur. Have you heard of Jamshedpur? Okay. So we started interacting with Jamshedpur. Incidentally, has something known as Adityapur Development Authority, AIDA. And at some point of time, Adityapur had around 3,000 SMEs, but now only 1,500 exist. Now, this is some kind of a global truth that most of these SMEs, they don't last beyond 5 to 6 years. So then, and it is a global truth. So then came the question, why these fellows languish? Why they can't survive? So in that process, we started interacting with nearly 50 to 60 SMEs based in Jamshedpur itself. And then in-depth studies. And then suddenly we realized there is some kind of data paralysis. What is this paralysis for? We have collected so much of data, but we did not know what to do with that. So then we thought through, and finally came up with this title, which is In Search of an Ideal SUVs. It took us 10 years. You may wonder, why 10 years? No answer to that, except that two publishers whom we approached, they closed down. One is Sage, and another was our own friend, Vision Books. Whole publishing industry is in a doldrum, that you know. So with the process of this research, thinking, we developed some kind of a PPT. I want now you to see that PPT. Can you show that? Rebooting the SME.
We got a presentation. Before that, I want to do a very, very privileged moment. Can I have the book, please? We want you to officially launch the book in our platform. And because I was waiting for
Okay, so I need to request
Kapur, you can also show the book on the screen. It will come on the picture, Mr. Kapur. No, I actually can sit down and do it. Stop waiting. Others will. Come, Mr. Malli. Thank you. Can I have PPT, please?
Can you all read this title of the PPT? Can you? May I request the youngest in the class to read? Youngest. Nobody? I am the youngest. Come. Lady sitting in the corner. There. Can you raise your hand? Stand. Yeah. And introduce yourself. And what are you reading, Shivani? You are hesitant. Do you understand this term, rebooting? Why this term? Anyway, clap for you. Thank you. So, as I said, analysis, paralysis, itna jada data develop kar liya, we did not know what to do. Thought through, came up with this title, and then our first finding that we are going to share. Can you change the slide now? Yeah, this question I'll raise at the end. Those of you can read. But I must compliment the Madras Management Association, such an excellent hall. Never seen this. So now this question is some kind of a strategic books mein hota hai कि if you have this knowledge, would you re-enter this business? I'll bring this question little later. Now, some kind of my or our findings. So can you change the slide now? Now this is what we call a very busy slide. It's a very busy slide, so we had just try to break it further. First, I'll read myself, and you can read with me in case that be. First category is stillborn baby. First category is stillborn baby. What do you understand by this? Anybody?
Not fully formed. Doesn't take off. Did not take off. Not fully formed.
Yeah. You're almost there, Ravi, but you're not there. Shit. Anyway, so stillborn baby, and these are the individuals who needed to be incubated. Unfortunately, those time incubators were not there in India. And both GM and we studied a lot on this business of incubators, but we'll come little later. Am I audible? Is voice breaking? Pakka. I have खांसी की गोली है मेरे पास, मैं आपको दूं? है, चलिए. Born sick baby. What is this? Born sick baby. So I am reminded of a very famous director, Guru Dutt, who produced a film known as Kagaz Ke Phool. And till date, Kagaz Ke Phool is considered to be the masterpiece of Guru Dutt. Those of you know Guru Dutt, that an excellent filmmaker. When Kagaz Ke Phool, एक भी audience नहीं मिला, एक भी audience नहीं मिला. And this is the story. We have prepared a stillborn baby. So, born sick baby, excellent example of India. I call it as, it's not an SME, but it's the biggest drain for our country. Till date, they have not been able to revive that, in spite of the fact that it was the pet of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Can you guess? There is HEC, Hindustan Corporation in Ranchi. Lot of money sucked in because this kind of product mix which they thought they'll do, nothing happened. Still category born sick. The third is healthy baby, remain small. What do you think we are trying to convey this? Ravi, apni baat.
Micro remains micro.
Okay.
This is the current status of most of the MSMEs in the country. They would like to remain where they are. Following the grow big.
तुमने वो word ambition क्यों use कर लिया? They don't want to be Dhirubhai Ambani. Am I right in that? No, I don't think so. But otherwise, they are very happy in their self. You are very right. कि सर क्यों ये पागलपन करें? झमेले करें, because from small to big listed company requires a lot of efforts, lot of transparency issues, lot of accountability issues. Why are you still current jhanjat? In between the jhanjat, do you understand that term? Good. Then fourth is the category, healthy baby aspiring to become successful. And we have many such examples, including an example in our own Jamshedpur. Our book has 2 or 3 excellent stories. One is of Ambera brothers, who became in a small garage. Today they are a giant organization for multinational, I would say that, Ambera brothers. Beauty of them is that these 2 brothers, one was an MCOM, another engineer, born to Oriya parents, till date. Both the brothers are together. Did you get my point? Both the brothers are together. And do you know famous story of 2 brothers who just can't live together? Some example?
Somebody.
But I just can't digest that. Kamath, ICI का जो चेयरमैन थे, कोकिला बहन ने उनको हायर करा था जब ये डिसाइड हो गया था कि ये दोनों साथ में रह सकते हैं, डिविजन ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी हो गया था. And a professor friend of mine in Ahmedabad, he says, Anil got much more than Mukesh. Now, I do not know whether it's right or not, but look at the way these two have done. But usko bhi chhod dete hain abhi. But when we come to other kind of example, I'm just trying to make one message or learning. It's very difficult to carry a team and then a family. It's very difficult, very challenging. Then comes this fifth category is also something we feel very bad. Healthy baby facing failed aspirations and accidental death. They didn't want to die, but something happened. So these five categories, am I audible? Okay. Am I making sense? You have no choice, say yes. So now, our suggestion, five categories we in many situations, we ask कि भाई आप कौन सी category में हैं? Majority of them, to my mind, in three of, like Ravi, in it,
I will be in the medium.
You're talking about these five. I mean, I will be somewhere in between 4 and 5.
you're planning to list your company?
Oh, yeah, we have had ideas, we've had discussions.
Good, good.
Listing. Now, a lot of SME listing, both in NSE and BSE are available. We had a couple of discussions with Bombay teams, Bombay investment advisors. Whether we do it or not.
I would like to be with the four.
Four.
Yes.
You have become four?
No, not yet.
My compliment. Good luck. So now, the second slide or the third slide, can you change the? So this, you can see the font size now larger, and in entrepreneurs had appealing ideas, but no takers when introduced in the market. So now, our suggestion is, is there a role model for us? So can you change the slide? Somebody who's, yeah. या इसमें लार्ज फॉन्ट आ गया है, मैंने आपको ये दिखा दिया है in order to save time. Next, right. So now the question, role model for you, and we deliberately picked up Indian example. J.N. Tata, have you heard of J.N. Tata? There were some people who said, Tata alone is sufficient to take care of India. That was this. And till date, Tatas are dedicated only to society. That's all. The only purpose of business is society. Next is our Mr. Narayan and Ajim Premji or somebody else. So you can have your own role models. I am reminded of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Have you heard of Atal Bihari Vajpayee? So at one point of time, Atal Bihari Vajpayee requested Narayan Murthy to develop a book such that they can develop better leaders. And Narayan Murthy developed a book for better India, better world. But that was not the point. The role models are needed for you to guide. And Ajim Premji, an excellent human being, total dedication to the education, and no frills of any This is unbelievable kind of contribution. Or you may have your own. So then we sat through. We were very fortunate to know Mr. Narayanmurthy a little more. He used to teach computers to us in IIM Ahmedabad. And, huh? Somebody said something? So he used to teach computers. दोनों बैठे हैं हमारे class fellows. So he used to teach computers. Such a simple man. And also, I could not understand this. He got admission in IIT, but his father does not have money to support his education in IIT. I just can't digest that. But that is true. Today, we visited IIT campus also in Chennai, and I just can't digest that his father didn't have that kind of money. But anyway, besides the point, what is more important is this next slide. Somebody is able. Yeah, this is of course some kind of mother's statement. We'll go beyond this. Yeah, now this is what I wanted. This is some kind of what is all-inspiring is showing. Narayanmurthy. And how many people? 7. And he carried the team. He carried the team till date. And this kind of, you may call camaraderie or otherwise, but he was very clear from day one that we would make money only through, complete the sentence, honest means.
Ethical.
They just had 10,000 rupees in their pocket. And now look at their wealth. एक और transparency करेंगे, slide करेंगे. Look, this is the one. Sudha Murthy and party. Sudha herself is a big celebrity. Why? वो Prime Minister की सास है. नहीं, वो भी सत्य है ना. So, Sudha Murthy is, I can't digest this. Sudha Murthy wrote a postcard to J.R.D. Tata. Can I understand you don't hire women mechanical engineers? And how did that postcard reach J.R.D. Tata? It's still a mystery to me. But somehow or the other, J.R.D. Tata read that. He got hold of Mulgaonkar. What is this? Is it truth? And rest is history. She joined Tata Motors for some time. And now, in her own way, this kind of very real stories, but I wish India had such many more stories. So this is some kind of a case study. Then all of you, maybe, how many of you are from SMEs? I suppose many of you. So in that, yeah. So we then tried to strengthen the conceptual base of, suppose we conduct a seminar, some kind of concept for them. So we thought a good example of sharing the idea of growth vector, because everybody wants to grow and become big and better. So can you change the slide? Next. No, these are all hackneyed terms: honesty, courtesy, transparency, but to implement them, it's a challenge. But next is some kind of a conceptual input. Next. Now look at this. This is a story. No, it's not a not RT's comment. Look at the growth. And what comes out very clearly, sustenance is the key. And in my classes of strategy, creating sustainable differential advantages is the key. Differential advantages is the key. And this, to my mind, outstanding story, which could be story for many. After that, there is this idea of growth vector. Next. Yeah. Now this is not a very clear kind of, but long time back. Can you change one more? Yeah, this is the one. Now it's not a rocket science. And this is of some kind of a conceptual understanding, which is saying the directions. Every organization requires directions from time to time, and they also require ideas to grow. So in this, there are two modes. One is expansion, and the other one is diversification. And our own view is that as far as possible, you may not like it, stay in your own business. Don't try to diversify. Unless your business has run out of steam, where you have no opportunities, perhaps expansion could be a better route, but otherwise avoid diversification, especially mindless diversification. Jahan mila opportunity, aap ghus gaye. Avoid that. Now, so this is a very simple matrix, and with one or two, I'll request you may have some questions. So round one is over for me. But don't clap for me now.
Yeah, yes, the M is micro, and the S, as you know, is small, and then it goes on to medium. So there's been a lot of changes in the laws guiding the principles, the accounting practices. And what has happened of late is the M and the S have been differentiated from the medium. So, for example, I remember when this was introduced earlier, the MSME Act, we could, in the Samadhan scheme, we could claim our outstanding. We put a case, we go online on the Samadhan scheme, we put a case, and initially I was so surprised. For 6-9 months we were able to recover some of our monies. But within a year or so, they said that the minimum due for which you can put a case under Samadhan became 100 lakhs, which is a crore of rupees. So a lot of it could not be done. So, I mean, I understand that this needs constant, somebody needs to look at it regularly and then upgrade it and review it and all. But then there are certain aspects where I think it fails to serve the purpose, because MSME is one. You cannot further bifurcate it. And if you see how the rupee has been losing values over the decades, I mean, today, what is 100 crores? What is a crore of rupees? So you should, the perspectives need to, the people who look at it needs to have wear different glasses at different points of time, and then accordingly move this forward.
Namaste to everybody. Good evening to all. First of all, my hearty congratulations to you and Mr. G.M. Kapur for having, released this book on MSMEs. Today, as all of you know, that MSME, of course, like what Mr. Mahalingam was saying, is the backbone. But is the government really trying to look at it that way? And like what sir was mentioning about certain issues, I think there is a lot of gaps. But having said that, there are certain points from his presentation which I would like to take it up. Out of the five, the birth stories that you have mentioned, I think it is very clearly mentioned that almost 90% of the MSMEs in the country fall within that, not that four category, with the remaining ones, the 1, 2, 3, and 5. I think one of the reason is people like Tatas or people like Ambani's, they have a lot of backup, they have a lot of background, they have a lot of support systems. But of course, the only exception to that was Mr. Narayan Murthy, of course, who started off in a very, very small way, in a scratch way. But today, the MSMEs in our country, I would say that require tremendous amount of support. Of course, after the recent government, for the last 10 years, there have been a lot of work being done. And, I represent the All India Organization of Lahu Udyog Bharati. We do a lot of work on MSMEs and a lot of, activities are being done. But in spite of that, can we, collectively say that, can we compare an MSME in India with that of an MSME in Korea or Japan? The other day, we had a company from Korea who wanted to have some kind of a technical discussions with them, and they said that they are an SME, and their turnover was like about 950 crores. But look at the way that the Korean country is thinking. But I'm not saying that we should replicate the same thing to India, because India is completely different and we need to do it the Indian way. I mean, there is no two opinions on that. But 95% of the MSMEs, if we take the overall data, 95% of the MSMEs are today in the micro sector. 3% are in the small, and less than 2% are in the medium. So I think what we have been doing in Lahu Udyog Bharati is that we are putting a lot of focus on the micro sector, because today, if that sector is, improved, the overall country, you will have a very big growth in the country, because we have so many of these draconian laws coming up. The Basel II norms are still being there, and so many things happening. I mean, today you can't even, have some kind of a recoup to it in case you have a small failure in your business. But these are certain things, very simple thing. I'll tell you today, we have something called an NPA norms. The NPA norms in the government today is about 90 days with the banks. We have been advising to the government to increase it to 180 days. I mean, today, most of I think there's a new law, section 43H, I think most of you must be aware, where it's being now forced on the MSMEs to make payments to all your vendors and this thing within 15 days and 45 days. I mean, if that is going to be the law, and if somebody is going to have an NPA within 90 days, most of the current cycle is today not anywhere between 90 to 120 days. So where are we today? So this is something that, we need to have a lot of thinking on this. But of course, honestly speaking, there is a huge amount of growth and potential which is available for the MSMEs today in this country. I think if at all, we should be having a very bright thinking about our future. I think it is the next 10 years. I think the China plus policy, I think all of people, like my good friend Krishnan and Mr. Raman will surely appreciate. There's a huge amount of potential out there. I think if we do not cash in on this, and if, like what sir says, if we don't think big and try to become like an Ambani, or we don't need to become an Ambani, but at least, go in that direction, I think there's a huge potential out there. I think this is the right time to be in the industry. The other factor is that the amount of manufacturing is coming down in MSMEs. Today, if you see over the last 10, 15 years, the percentage of manufacturing companies of the MSMEs is reducing by more than 30 to 40%. I think that is a very sad story because of China, because a lot of people would like to import from China or Korea, and then, just doing it as a trading business rather than trying to manufacture it in India. I think there should be a lot of support from the government for the manufacturing sector. Like, for example, the PLI scheme. Today, we have been giving a lot of impetus to the government to bring in PLI scheme for the MSMEs. Today, if PLI schemes are being given for the big corporates, no doubt about it. We are very happy about it. But please consider for the MSMEs also, so that, there'll be a huge amount of push towards the productivity linked incentives that they're trying to plan. And this is the area where they have to focus rather than many other areas. I mean, this is my honest submission. I mean, a wonderful book. I would like to read it completely and really wish you all the very best.
For Hariharan, anybody now, audience who would like to share their experience, make some observations? Anybody from audience? Ravi? Carry the mic to the, come, please. Identify yourself. XLRI.
Hello. I am from SRF, Shriram Fibers. Instead of the government, state and central, supporting the giant industries, they should support only the macro industries. Then only our nation will grow. Otherwise, it will, worst to worst, it will go to the devil. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yeah, Hariharan.
No, incidentally, we are now trying to advise the government, saying that there should be not a small, there's a small, micro, small and medium. Now we are saying we need something called a SISHU. SISHU is something that we call it about 40 lakhs turnover per annum. This is about 3 lakhs or 3 lakhs per month. I think 90% of the MSMEs belong to this sector.
Yeah.
I think if there is certain amount of policies, like for example, we are advising the government saying that let's bring out a small factories act. Less than 40 people, don't bring in ESI, don't bring in PF. Of course, the insurance should be there, but don't bring in all these draconian laws into the system. They will not be able to follow it. Even today, they're not following it up. So let's have something which is, pertinent to the current model of business. Good point, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, please identify yourself.
Yes, I am actually part. I want to take up two issues as I think the Udyog, the MSME person was mentioning. Lagu Udyog. See, one thing is like, as I think you are pointing out, the micro MSME is, I think, almost contributing to 20% of the GDP, about 100 lakh. The recent 43BH Act, I would like to point here. See, the Act has almost come effective almost 8 months ago. I think probably about 1 month ago or 1.5 months ago, I think the MSME Confederation, I think CAIT or somebody has met the Finance Ministry for, I think, taking up the Act. The observation which I am just thinking is MSME unable to react when anything, a serious proposal is coming out from the government? This is point number one. And as I think you are pointing about the emergence of China, to which I think India is not reacting. I would like to take two corollaries. You take the case of Bangladesh, probably I think which is overtaken in terms of India in the RMG. And recently, I think it is another case of Vietnam and Thailand. Automotive. Reacting very fast to the government's steps, where I think there is no synergy in it. Or probably the government is not able to respond to the micros, the growth in the GDP participation. I think I would like to stop here.
Yeah. You see, basically, when you examine the growth model of Maruti, whereby they developed a lot of sub-suppliers, which started in 1983. So this kind of networking, to my mind, would be needed in a very large scale. India had this conceptual kind of input, but Maruti was alone. Other thing in my book that we have mentioned is that the laws are killing SMEs. So much of accountability. In my book, I mentioned, I quoted an example of a company, the chartered accountant says कि सर 3 लोगों को मैंने रखा है सिर्फ सबमिट करने के लिए जो भी फॉर्म्स होते हैं. This environment we need to change. SME, they are being killed. And the other thing that I want to share with you, that the idea of networking was there earlier also. Idea of relationship marketing was also earlier there. But somehow or the other, I don't see what we can call a enabling environment. boy.
Just to answer two of your questions, is that the first thing is the section 43H. I think Lahu Udyog Bharati was one of the very few organizations which wanted this act to be implemented. There is absolutely no two opinions about it, because the micro and the small are the industries which are highly affected because of the delay in payments from the medium and the large corporates. But the point here, not only with this act, but with a lot of other acts also, is the way in which it is implemented. Today, you bring in an act and you say that everybody has to follow the act from, say, 1st of April. Well, it's not possible. Because for a micro industry or a small industry to pay to a micro, he needs to get his payment from his medium. So what we have been advising to the government, in fact, we had an interaction with the Honorable Finance Minister. What we have told them is that, first you start implementing the act for the big corporates, for the PSUs, for the government bodies. Then you do it for the medium. Then you do it for the small. And give time for the micros. So this is probably a period of about 1 year's time, which we are asking the government to give us. I think this is probably being taken up very seriously also. And the government is also mulling the idea of, trying to delay it by about a year. But this is something which is being done. So what we are lacking today in our country is the effective way of implementation rather than the ideas. Now, coming to your point of this Bangladesh and other things, the answer to your question is both an yes and no. Today, the government is doing a lot of efforts, but whether it is sufficient, maybe not.
No.
And whether the micros are able to react to the government's policies, even there I find a big gap. See, today, I'm sure most of you are aware of this concept called the ONDC. The government is putting a lot of efforts on this ONDC. This is going to be a game changer. And this is being done only for the micro industries and the small industries. If this ONDC is being, understood by the members, and again, the GEM portal, these are all areas where the government is putting a lot of efforts. But at least we from South India, are we able to really make use of this? We see a big gap between the North and the South. So the government is putting a lot of efforts, and we need to buckle up. And, like, for example, today, the RMG segment is completely eaten away by Bangladesh. So if you go to Tirupur, in fact, a lot of our members are having absolutely no business today. They are completely eaten away by the Bangladesh segment.
Really?
So the ready-made garments.
Yeah. I
So-
visited Jaipur several times.
Sorry.
Sad. Yeah. Yeah. Can you speak to the mic, please?
Yeah. See, already, you have with your customers some 15 days or 30 days or something. Now, now the customer is forcing you to implement this, right? Number two, again, some customers, they are not able to make the payment even on the 46th day, forcing us to revise the invoice. Number three, as being in an MSME, as being in a service industry, I don't get any benefit out of this MSME tag. Correct? We are into a contract staffing industry. By using this word called MSME, get registered into it, neither I get any benefit, nor I don't get any special benefit from the bankers or anybody else. Then what is the way out for the MSME? We say that, we are the backbone, we are the 30% employment generation, blah, blah, blah. We talk about it. At the end of the day, by implementing all those things, you are literally screwing the MSME. My question is now very simple. Can I surrender this certificate? So I don't want this MSME because banker is not giving any special interest for it. Then I can, go to as a normal entity and do my business with the customer.
Okay. Okay. Sir, the answer to this question is yes, the section 43H, whatever you mentioned. One of the first conditions that we are trying to the finance ministry is that if there is any agreement between the buyer and the seller, then we need to honor this agreement. They cannot have an act which will overrule this. This is point number one. If suppose we both are as a customer and supplier, if we have a 90 days, then there cannot be any act which will overrule our agreement. So this is point number one. The second point, coming to your, sort of a feeling that you have for MSMEs. I mean, today, I would say very honestly, there are a lot of schemes which are not being understood by the people. I think today the way in which it is being not able to reach to the customer, to the MSMEs are the biggest gap there. So that's where organizations like Lahu Udyog Bharati come into picture. Like, for example, today you said that there is no interest benefit when you go to the bank. Of course, there is a 3% interest subvention. I think my good friend Krishnan will be able to understand that from TIEC, who are the Tamil Nadu Investment in the Industrial Corporation, they give you about 3% interest subvention if you are a if you are a MSME. And there are a lot of schemes. I mean, for a new entrepreneur and for an existing entrepreneur, there are a lot of loans being sanctioned. And today, if at all, I mean, hats off to this Tamil Nadu government. We do a lot of work. The Tamil Nadu MSME department is doing a lot of work when it comes to, handling of several projects. So there are, I mean, the government as such, can provide you funds, can provide you, the interest subvention for a small period. Like today, for example, many of your people who are quite older than me would appreciate there was a concept called sales tax deferral. I think this is one of the best things which can happen in Tamil Nadu. This happened about more than 15 years back. Even we were able to make use of this. You collect the sales tax from your customers and you don't pay it to the government, but you pay it after 9 years. These are some things which is already there about 10, 15 years back. But so, okay, we don't have those kind of policies now, but at least you have a lot of similar things which are happening. And even now, recently, there was an announcement of about 20,000 crores for industries which are already crippled. So there was a new thing which has come in. But today, the problem is we do not approach the right agent or the right party. Like, for example, you have the MSME Development Institute in Guindy. If you go to them and you tell them all the problems, they are directly connected with the MSME department in Delhi, and they'll be able to give you a lot of support. I think that way, maybe we can even talk offline. I can introduce you to a lot of these things, and please do not cancel your registration certificate. I will not agree for it.
Maybe definitely I'll talk to you offline.
Sure, sure.
So there are a number of there are a number of queries which have come in online, and I would address this question. I read out this question for Mr. Kapur, Mr. GM Kapur to answer. What inspired you to write this book, and what key insights or experiences led to the development of a holistic management approach for MSMEs? This is Kumar from Ambu.
Good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
As Professor Sarin has mentioned, the whole idea was mooted many years back. And over a period of time, we dwelt on the idea of trying to share our experience and find out what can be the ways and means of at least avoiding failure. That's why we made a study of failed industries. And I must tell you that every entrepreneur should be definitely not afraid of failure. All of you would have heard of Kapur, the founder of the Indus Entrepreneurs. He said he would prefer to back a failed entrepreneur because he would have had some experience in running an enterprise and ensuring that he doesn't fail the second time. So this is what, let's say, lesson we want to tell the audience, that don't be afraid of failure. And especially since somebody mentioned about the micro industries, you see today, the micro industries are the ones who are getting microfinance. because of which they are able to survive. Banks never used to look at a person in that category. I remember many, I'm talking about 50 years back, there used to be a scheme, State Bank of India used to run called the Differential Interest Rate Scheme, DIR, which was at that time 4% for the today's micro finance parties. But the government was not really pushing that. Number one. Number two, they were, the recipients were also more or less sure that they didn't have to return the money. Whereas today, their attitude has changed. And they are all, the microfinance recipients are trying to run an efficient business. Very low in terms of volume maybe. But if you recall, our Honorable Prime Minister made a statement that business can be also to make pakoras. Now, it was very, people thought very facetiously about it. But, in Calcutta, we have a company called Wow Momos. It started with this concept of making momos. And today they are a 300 crore company. So the thing is, as I said, it was mainly to share experiences that we decided to ultimately write the book.
Next one for you, sir. Of course, could you share some practical examples on case studies that illustrate the effectiveness of your approach in the real world MSME scenarios? How much are they acceptable to the entrepreneur who already faces many challenges? This is from Deepak Madurai. Mr. Kapur again.
Okay. Challenges are aplenty. It's no business is a cakewalk. I mean, if such a business existed, then we'd all be working. But as has been pointed out by my friend from the Laghu Udyog, there are always issues with the government, always. But I feel today the government is much more industry friendly. At least they listen and not only do lip service. So I feel that while there are challenges, we must look at the steps which the government is taking to help overcome those challenges.
One more, sir. Can you share any insights or strategies regarding the talent acquisition, retention, and development within MSMEs?
Sorry, I didn't get that. What? Acquisition?
Talent strategies.
Oh, talent acquisition.
Talent
Okay.
acquisition, retention.
And retention. Again, a big challenge. Again, a big challenge. But again, if you have growth plans, you can attract talent who is willing to grow with you, provided you also have that outlook. If you have an outlook where you are willing to share your growth with someone, he is willing to stay with you. This is my feeling.
The next one to Professor. Yeah. This is what role do you see technology playing in implementation of your holistic management approach of MSMEs? Do you think they can adapt to Industry 4.0, the MSMEs? This is from Anu, Coimbatore.
Answer is yes. It is only two things which are driving the world, including SMEs. One is technology and another is globalization. So technology in all forms is very, very relevant. And when I look back, all MSMEs, small and big, they need to score high on 2 M's. One is technology and another is management. 2 M's, technology and management. These are two very broad terms, but a combination of them can take you far, my view. So you cannot, I am reminded of a company known as Asian Paints. Asian Paints was the first one to adopt technology in India in 1947. Nobody has even thought of that. And today, nobody could touch Asian Paints. Reason, early adoption of technology. So whosoever is the gentleman, good question, but do not shy with implementing of technology.
The next one for you, sir.
Camera.
Mr. Hariharan, in your opinion, what are the most critical factors for success of MSME? And it says adapting your management approach and how they can be effectively implemented. This is from Varsha, Pune.
Thank you, Vasha. One of the critical things which according to me is that if you have to be a successful MSME, you need to have some kind of a uniqueness in your product. I think this is true for any product, anything, not only for an MSME. Today, we are bound by a lot of challenges, especially when it comes to cost with our customers. And if you are going to be in a cost war, I think that the days are numbered. This is my honest opinion. So in order for you not to be in the cost war, you have to have some kind of a uniqueness in your process or your product. I think this is one thing which will probably carry on. So it's not just one, technology that you can have. You need to keep on adapting yourself. So the question of adaptability is very important when you want to stay on in the business. So you, like, for example, today, again, I have to quote our good friend Krishnan. In the current automotive industry, there was a huge, backlash about the IC engines being converted into electric vehicles. A lot of people said, no, there's going to be a huge job loss, about some, say, 2,000 parts in a car. It's going to come down to 20 parts in a car and all that. But honestly, today, you tell me, Krishnan will also be able to accept, we see EV as one of the very big opportunities today. What we can earn some 50 or 70 rupees per part, today we're going to have about 300 or 400 rupees. And that's a huge concept, but are we prepared for it? Are we able to have the kind of, it's a huge price war. But again, we need to be, technology oriented. We need to be there. And there are a lot of things which are happening in the market. So when you want to be successful, unless or until you are unique, and unless and until you are there upfront in the technology, then it becomes very difficult. So I think these are the 2 points which I wanted to.
Clap for him. Clap for Ravi. So how much time we have now?
How much of the debt do you attribute to government support, inaction, etc.? And how much would it be because they didn't build value during their stage of existence?
It's a good question, difficult to answer. What portion would belong to which side, I have no idea. And when I began my search for this book itself, we went to Aryasburg Development Authority. And there also, I mentioned in the earlier, that out of 3,000, 1,500 have died. उनकी डेथ कैसे हुई है वो हमारा conceptualization is not enough. But something to deep down, my own conviction is this: if you remain honest, you will find answers. Up, is it a loaded statement or whatever it is? But
No, I have a small feedback to him. If you ask me what is the reason for the death of many of the MSMEs, I don't think it's the government which is involved in this. Because, see, today, honestly, any successful MSME, will not depend on the government for their existence. See, government is only an incidental. When you're a issue, when you're a small, you can depend on the government. Not when you're a medium, not when you're a small. You're already grown up in the industry. You're already, okay, there are some schemes which you can make use of. It can be only incidental. The government support can be only incidental. It cannot be on behalf of. The second point is, if you ask me personally, one of the reasons why at least my study of this MSME is because my favorite point is that today most of the MSMEs are failing because of wrong succession planning. I think this is something which is going to be bothering all of us. And, most of us are, getting into the 50s and 60s.
And for this, you need to read our book.
Okay, very good. I mean, this is my very favorite topic because any entrepreneur who is more than 50, 60 years old, the first question I ask him is, boss, where's your son? What is he doing? Or your daughter, whoever it is. But, this is becoming a very big challenge for all of our things because one thing is today when we all go home, I think again, Krishnan would accept that when we go home, what is it we talk to our next generation? We say, no, sir, today we had GST issues, we had central excise problems, we had this bank issues and all that. But today, honestly, none of us go and tell our children, boss, I made 2 lakhs today. This is the big gap that I find. Today, when they talk to their peer pressures and they find that, 2 lakhs and 5 lakhs is becoming a big amount, then they think that, oh, my father is struggling every day. He's not able to make ends meet. And why should I go and fall into his this thing? So this is something which I would, advise all of our entrepreneurs here to go and, talk to your children. I'm not saying that you should not tell the negative points. Yes, negative is very important, but please speak about your positives, your way of, and again, the value systems that you have brought in the industry. One of the big advices which I have got from Lahu Udyog Bharati, one of my mentor, is that make your MSME an institution. Don't make it as a this thing. Make your MSME as an institution. It should not be for you and your children. That the industry, that the company has to survive. The company has to exist. I think this is the concept which I think we should all try to bring into it.
The last two questions. I'll address it to Mr. Kapur. How does your holistic management approach differ from traditional management strategies typically employed by MSMEs? This is Hemant from Chengalpet.
I think a holistic approach is what is going to benefit any industry. I mean, you can't have a half-hearted approach looking at only certain aspects. It has to be a holistic approach if you want to run an industry efficiently. So holistic is a term which is being used not in any specific way, but holistically. That is the whole idea. I mean, you have to manage your industry in a holistic manner.
I think this is the last question. Anybody? Or can you take an online? This is a long one, but can you elaborate on the specific challenges that MSMEs face in today's business landscape and how your approach addresses these challenges? What is the support you think could be extended by the government and financial institutions to MSME? This is Sweta from Hyderabad.
We need Mrs. Sitaraman for that. Jim, would you like to answer this?
I think we have covered most of the points in this. I mean, the government is there, the banks are there, they're all there to support the institution, the industry. And there is no, let's say, laid down path for each industry. You'll have to have an independent view. You'll have to discuss your problems with the various agencies and try to sort them out on an individual basis. Because every industry cannot follow the same problems which another industry faces. Your problem will be unique. So, but there are agencies which are willing to help you to sort out those problems. Today, like you mentioned, the financial institutions are there, government bodies are there. I think they are all willing to help. At one time, they were probably not as helpful as they are today. That's why you you see in the book, you will find a lot of examples of hurdles which came up when a person was trying to set up an industry. So today things are that way much more easy. And I think anybody who is facing problems in running an industry or this thing, he has much more access to solutions.
Hariharan, would you like to add to this?
So one of the points that he was mentioning is that MSMEs always have a lot of challenges. I mean, today, right from the day you start and the way in which you go ahead, you always have challenges. But today, honestly, in the last 10 years, we have a very, very proactive government. Honestly, I'm telling you today, I'll give you only one small example if time permits. In Ambattur Estate, I think all of you are aware that there was a problem of this flooding. Every year, year on year, we have this flooding. It is happening for more than 25, 30 years. And we had organizations like IMA who have been continuously, addressing it to the government agencies and all that. A team of people came to us and said, this is what we have, and please do something about this. So we immediately approached our national team, and then we also went to the Honorable Minister. The issue is the water had to pass through a canal, which is having a very small width, and this canal has to be increased. It's a very, very small issue. But this board didn't agree, that board didn't agree, corporation didn't agree, this agree. But ultimately, the sufferers were all the medium industries and the industries in Patwalakam area. I think everybody is aware of this. But honestly, we took this issue in a very, very proactive manner and went to the government and told them that this is the issue that we are facing. Please do something. And we went and met the Honorable Minister of Railways, Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav. And he listened to us for half an hour. I mean, this is the class of an IAM and a person. He listened to us for half an hour and he said, Hariharan, I mean, because I represent the Udyog Bharati, he said, please treat this as closed. You will never be talking about this the rest of your life. And immediately after that, it doesn't mean that he just stopped there. He went ahead and immediately sent his people. And you won't believe me, yesterday, I think today is Tuesday. Yesterday, there was a puja between the corporation and the railway ministry. They have already started the work there. I mean, this is something the government is proactive, but we have to approach and, try to take up the issues at the right level. Similarly, we also had one issue with the Honorable Finance Minister, where the ECLGS, I think all of you are aware of the part 2 of the ECLGS when we had the COVID situations. There was a clause mentioned that the dispersal of the loan is at the discretion of the bank manager. Now, which bank manager is going to give you if it is going to be at his discretion? So we mentioned this to madam, and madam said, no, that's not the case. It cannot happen like that. Madam, it's there in the guideline. Please, if you want, I'll just mark it. No, you please send it. We immediately marked that and sent it to her. You won't believe me, within 15 days, it was repealed. The entire MSME in the country was able to get the loans automatically sanctioned. There was no discussion from the bank manager. So I think if we take up the issues collectively and, take it at the right cost, and, see, today in the Udyog Bharati, we have the growth and development of the MSMEs, leads to the nation's growth. If we work with that direction, I think we can do a lot of work for the MSMEs, for the benefit of the MSMEs. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I think, yeah. Would like to say some few words? Any closing comments, Dr. Sarin?
Concluding remarks.
Yes.
I'm very happy. More than happy.
Then last, Mr. Kapur also. Anything parting comments,
Mr.
Kapur?
To be honest with you, this is our 5th some kind of a presentation or release of book. First was in Calcutta, then Ahmedabad, Lucknow, and now your Chennai. Nowhere I found this kind of audience. I'm totally humbled, and many thanks, sir, to all the support. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Sarin. Mr. Kapur, any parting comments, you would like to say something?
So just to say thank you to my good friend, Mr. Mahalingam. And I am also equally appreciative of all the involvement of all the audience. And I always believe that entrepreneurship is something which will grow the country. Whatever you make, whatever you think of, it will add to your GDP. And as I said, when the first fast food was started in Calcutta, and the Nizams called the Kati roll. So a man had an idea and he converted into a business. That is what we should try to promote. Keep thinking of ideas and see which ones will run. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause to our distinguished panel this evening. And also viewers, over 570 viewers are watching it online. Thank you. So many questions have come. We could accommodate as many questions as possible. Now I request Ranganathan and Raja to step on and do the honor of presenting a memento to our distinguished panelists. Please, you can keep sitting, sir. Come. You give it to your professor. Maybe I can request XLRI officers to please join on the stage for a picture with your professor. I know how much you revered him and you are here. Please join him for a group picture with the professor. We also have an online memento. Mr. Kapur, we are missing your presence here.
Thank you.
Next time when you come to MMA, we would like to see you. This is a memento what we have made for you. This is what on your behalf we give to the
Thank
school
you.
children from the poor students studying in government school. We give items on your behalf because people like you come and speak to us. We get honored. Thank you so much for joining us online.
Thank you. Thank you very much.